Tonight, former President Donald Trump testifies for allegations held against Trump Towers from 2015.
A Fulton resident crashes into a Pulaski gas station.
And a new possibility scholarship honoring President Stanley. WTOP Nightly News starts now. Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Thomas Caffarella.
And I'm Peyton Ashford.
SUNY Oswego President Deborah Stanley is set to retire in December after leading the college for more than 25 years. The college recently revealed the renamed arena Marano Campus Center, the Deborah F. Stanley Arena, and Convocation Center.
And now she has a $250,000 scholarship donated in her name, the endowed Deborah F. Stanley Possibility Scholarship. The scholarship was donated by an anonymous alumna and her husband last week.
The couple established the scholarship to recognize President Stanley's dedication and leadership. The scholarship will be awarded to a student from New York State who is set to pursue a degree in STEM and will provide support for tuition, room and board, as well as hands-on research throughout the summer research program and international service learning throughout global laboratory, and will be awarded to its first student in the fall of 2022.
Registration for SUNY Oswego's all-online winter session is now open with more than 100 courses and a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate courses. Students will be able to earn up to 8 credits across the 6-week session to either maintain their Excelsior scholarship or to stay on track for either their expected graduation date. Stay tuned to course availability as courses continue to be added. For more details and information, visit oswego.edu/winter or email wintersession@oswego.edu.
Many clubs and organizations are returning to in-person activities this semester after several semesters of learning remotely due to the pandemic. One of these is the theater department. WTOP 10 reporter Xavier Brzett has more information about the first production. Xavier, what show is coming up?
Thanks, Thomas. SUNY Oswego's theater department is putting on the first in-person production since the pandemic started. The dark comedy Elsewhere will premiere October 20th through the 24th. Tickets can be found on college's box office website. I'll have more on this story later in the week, including how the show director feels about returning to in-person format. Back to you guys.
4 years later, West Linear Riverwalk is set for repairs. In 2017 and 2019, Lake Ontario waters swelled, causing mass amounts of damage to shorelines. The city has been awarded approximately $1.7 million of reparations from FEMA, which will be put towards the protection and longevity of Riverwalk. But the city officials say that there is talk of the use of local funding to enhance the area. On Sunday, state police in Pulaski arrested Kayla E. Newcomb after she failed to stop at the end of Interstate 81, running into a Valero gas station. The 29-year-old was charged with criminal possession of stolen property, reckless endangerment, reckless driving, and a DWAI. State police were able to determine that the vehicle was stolen property from the village of Lacona. Newcomb was uninjured and the employee inside was treated and released from the hospital.
Gas prices have continued to rise at a rate of over 5 cents per week in central New York. AAA reports that gas prices have risen 6 cents in the last week in New York State to an average price of $3.34 per gallon. Increased demand and reduced production of crude oil have caused prices to steadily rise in recent months. The average price of gas was $2.25 this time last year.
The Jim and Julie Boeheim Foundation is helping Oswego Health to positively impact children. The foundation is providing $10,000 grants for in-school therapy programs. The money will be used to purchase therapeutic tools, laptops, and other program supplies to help on one-on-one counseling sessions. In addition to offering a wide variety of outpatient services, Oswego Health also operates clinic programs that provide mental health assessments and medication treatments to children in several area school districts. Approximately 250 local children are enrolled in the program.
Former President Donald Trump testified for 4 hours against assault allegations at Trump Towers back in 2015. A lawsuit was filed by a group of human activists of Mexican origin who were protesting in front of Trump Towers on Trump's rhetoric on immigration and were assaulted by Trump's security. Another group of protesters were outside Trump Towers as the deposition took place. Another deposition was several years in the making. A New York judge first ordered Trump's deposition back in 2019, but was put on pause because he was in office. New York Attorney Benjamin Dichter talks about how important this case is to our judicial system.
What I can say about what transpired in this building today is that there was a demonstration that our legal processes still work. The judicial system still works. No one is above the law. Donald John Trump sat in a chair, put his right hand up, and he took an oath. He took an oath to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth. And he answered questions for several hours with his counsel present. And that is part of what we call due process in this country. And maybe some of us forgot that that applies to everyone in the course of the past several years. But I think today serves as a demonstration that our institutions are intact and the rule of law is supreme above all else in this country.
Dichter declined to characterize the former president's testimony or say whether or not he believed he was being truthful in the deposition.
Coming up later tonight, 17 missionaries kidnapped in Haiti, possibly by gang members.
And former Secretary of State Colin Powell dies from COVID at the age of 84.
Now, let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Nicholas Casano.
Thanks, Thomas. There will be a brief relief of rain Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a noticeable gust from tonight to Wednesday morning. There is a small craft advisory until Wednesday morning with an expected wave 4 to 7 feet high. So don't bring out your small boats onto the lake until after Wednesday. There will be occasional showers for the rest of the week, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast after the break.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Hello, I'm WTOP meteorologist Nicholas Casano. For this week, it's going to be feeling more like autumn, hoping that the rain will go away. Showers are going to be continuing till the end of the week. And there's going to be a cold snap Friday and into the weekend. Speeding off a little bit, there's going to be a little fall foliage. So you can see up here in Adirondacks. You can see how they're all, sorry, I'm covering this, let me move over. But you can see that there is, You can see up here in the Adirondacks that there is mostly at peak foliage, and over where we are, Oswego County, we're just starting to change to the midpoint. Tonight, there is going to be a chance of rain, 46 degrees, and there's going to be a northwest 60-mile-per-hour wind going in the northwest. Over tomorrow, over the morning into the afternoon, we're going to see that's going to be mostly sunny, that 55 to 61 to 63. So if you plan on doing any type of physical activity, try and save it for the afternoon when it's nice and sunny out. Tuesday night's forecast, it's going to be 57 degrees. It's going to be a little cloudy, but it's going to be mostly clear. The main thing is just going to be a bunch of wind gusts, 33 miles per hour, so expect it to be a little bit chilly. And then this is going to be our forecast for the week. You can see it's clear mostly for Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we have showers coming in, and then you can notice that Friday we have the cold snap coming in, going into the weekend until cloudy, sunny Monday. Next up, we have more news and sports.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Our son Arjun was born with cystic fibrosis. CF is a genetic disease that shortens lives. When the foundation was founded in 1955, children with CF rarely live long enough to attend kindergarten. Today, thanks to the foundation's groundbreaking research, advocacy, and care, some people with CF are attending college, getting married, and starting families. We've made amazing progress, but until a cure is found for all people with CF, we will not stop. Help us add tomorrows. Visit cff.org today.
Is there a danger hiding in your home? Unused opioid medicines could harm your family. Find your unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups and learn how to dispose of them safely at fda.gov/drug disposal.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Former Secretary of State Colin Powell has passed away at the age of 84. The former statesman died from complications due to COVID-19. Powell leaves behind a legacy in Washington and around the world. From his decades of public service, Chris Nugent has more.
The world reacting to the death of former Secretary of State Colin Powell, the first African-American and youngest chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and later the first African-American Secretary of State under President George W. Bush.
So I've always felt strongly that you should try to solve conflicts in this world through negotiations, through diplomacy.
Former President Bush releasing a statement Monday saying in part, he was such a favorite of presidents that he earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom twice. He was highly respected at home and abroad. And most important, Colin was a family man and a friend. President Biden also recognizing Powell's decades of public service, writing in part, Colin embodied the highest ideals of both warrior and diplomat. Colin Powell was a good man. He will be remembered as one of our great Americans. And members of Biden's cabinet remembering Powell's legacy.
We will certainly miss him. I feel as if I have a hole in my heart just learning of this.
Secretary Powell was simply and completely a leader, and he knew how to build a strong and united team.
Powell grew up in the Bronx, New York. His parents immigrated from Jamaica. He served 2 tours in Vietnam, rising through the ranks to become a 4-star general. As Secretary of State, he made the case before the UN Security Council in 2003 to invade Iraq based on intelligence that it had weapons of mass destruction. The war lasted more than 8 years. No weapons of mass destruction ever turned up.
I regret it now because the information was wrong.
Powell spent his civilian years empowering youth through his projects.
When I heard their stories, I said, this is where I belong. I'm home again.
Powell died from complications from COVID-19, according to his family. He was 84 years old. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
President Biden has ordered that flags be flown at half-staff for the rest of the week to honor Secretary Powell.
Health officials say COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are all trending down, thanks in part to an increase in vaccinations. Meanwhile, police departments across the country are bracing for potential staffing shortages as some unions push back against city vaccine mandates. Alexandria Field reports.
The battle over life-saving vaccine mandates now pitting cities across the country against their own police departments.
This notion that individual officers get to be insubordinate as they choose and pick and choose, we're not having that.
Chicago limiting time off for all officers as a vaccine mandate takes effect, while warning officers who fail to share their vaccine status could ultimately be fired. Baltimore's police union telling officers not to reveal their vaccine status, citing a lack of communication between city officials and the bargaining unit, according to the Baltimore Sun.
This is not a good thing to mix up a public health crisis and a vaccine that can save lives amongst things like bargaining power. This is the wrong hill to die on.
Concerns over staffing shortages in the face of mandates are mounting. Seattle's police department had an 82% vaccination rate last Friday, 3 days before the deadline. The city's public schools canceled about 140 bus routes, fearing too few vaccinated drivers. Massachusetts moved preemptively to offset possible staffing shortages among state troopers by calling up its National Guard to assist in prisons if needed and to administer COVID tests to kids in schools. As of today, deadline day, the governor's office says 90% of state police have submitted their vaccine records.
I'm not comfortable with telling people what they should do under normal circumstances, but we are not in normal circumstances right now. Take the police. We know now the statistics. More police officers die of COVID than they do in other causes of death. So it doesn't make any sense.
The rush of mandates now targeting some of the 66 million Americans choosing not to get the shot, just as the country marks a vaccine milestone. 2/3 of all eligible people are now fully vaccinated. COVID-related deaths are trending down, cases and hospitalizations falling to nearly 3-month lows. But health officials are still expressing concerns over the danger of failing to vaccinate more people.
There's always the danger that there'll be enough circulating virus that you can have a stalling of the diminishing of the number of cases. And when that happens, as we've seen in the past with other waves that we've been through, there's the danger of resurgence.
The latest warning as new signs emerge of a different version of the Delta variant. It's been seen in the UK. Former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb is calling for urgent research.
While there are no public reports for the vaccine rates of police forces across the country, those who have reported their vaccination rate are lower than the 77% national average for the general public.
One of Haiti's most notorious gangs, 400 Mawozo, is believed to be behind the kidnapping of 16 Americans and 1 Canadian missionary over the weekend. The group was traveling to visit an orphanage when gang members stopped them at gunpoint. Gang activity has been increasing at an alarming rate in the country, with an estimated 150 members have taken control of a suburb in northern Haiti.
The White House announced fully vaccinated foreign visitors will once again be allowed back into the United States starting November 8th. Officials say the new guidelines apply to land, air, and sea travel, and that more details will be coming out, a very limited exception to the rule. The model will likely be similar to the CDC regulation, allowing those with an emergency use usher from the World Health Organization to be allowed in. 2 years after the Lebanon movement for the end of political classes and the revolution is worse than ever. Protesters have been demanding the end of political classes that have been preventing citizens from climbing out of poverty.
The chants, the flags are out again on Beirut's Martyrs Square to mark the second anniversary of a mass uprising against a political elite that has ruled, many say misruled, Lebanon since the Civil War. But where 2 years ago there were tens of thousands, on this day, just a few hundred. The demands, however, haven't changed. We want our country back, says Abir al-Araji. We want our rights. We want to live like everyone else. And they want accountability for the catastrophes this country has suffered in recent years. Suhail Asus lost his job as an interior designer. Now he has the time to construct a model of the fate he hopes for Lebanon's politicians. What matters, he says, is that people need to wake up and rise up and arrest all the murderers and crooks, to put them in an iron cage and set them on fire. At dusk, they gathered near the city's port, a symbol of the fatal negligence and corruption that have plagued Lebanon for decades, and the impunity of a ruling class that has yet to be brought to account. 2 years ago, there was a sense that something was changing. But since then, the Lebanese economy has collapsed. The country has been ravaged by the coronavirus pandemic. There was an explosion in the Beirut port in August of 2020 that killed more than 200 people. And most recently, there were clashes in Beirut reminiscent of the Lebanese Civil War. Whatever hope there was 2 years ago, much of it has faded. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Beirut.
Unfortunately, the protests in Lebanon are not getting any better. After a long delay, recipients of the 2020 and 2021 Annual National Teacher Award were celebrated earlier this afternoon on the White House lawn. First Lady and host of the event, Jill Biden, honored the recipients Juliana Urbery and Tabitha Rossbroy by commending them for their hard work during the pandemic, going above and beyond to create new and innovative ways for the students to learn.
Now we turn to sports with Brandon Ladd. Brandon, can you give us a quick preview?
Thanks, guys. We're going to get you all caught up on Oswego State hockey when we come back. You're watching Nightly News on WTOP 10.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I've really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 News. I am Brandon Ladd, and let's get right into the most anticipated event in Oswego State sports this year, the return of Oswego State hockey. The Oswego State men's hockey team returned to action Saturday night in the recently renamed Deborah F. Stanley Ice Arena for the first time in 594 days. Even though it was just an exhibition game against Utica College and did not affect the Lakers' record, there was still juice in the arena. The players fed off the crowd and played a tough Utica team pretty close the entire game, eventually losing 6-4. The Lakers will be back in action this Saturday at home against SUNY Canton for its last tune-up game before the regular season. The action will continue for Oswego State Athletics tomorrow as the Oswego State field hockey team is in action on the road against SUNY Brockport. Also, the women's volleyball team looks to get its 8th win of the season against Cazenovia at Maxiel Gymnasium. Field hockey starts at 4:30 and volleyball starts at 7 p.m. The Buffalo Bills are currently playing in Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans in a matchup of two perennial playoff teams in the AFC. The Bills are looking to improve to 5-1 on the season and remain tied with the Baltimore Ravens for the top record in the AFC. It is never too early to think about home field advantage. The score is currently Buffalo 3, Tennessee 0 at the end of the first quarter. The Boston Red Sox go back to Boston tonight for Game 3 of the ALCS against the Houston Astros with the series tied at 1. The game started at 8 and is currently 6-0 Red Sox. The starting pitching matchup tonight was Jose Urquieta against Eduardo Rodriguez. The Red Sox pulled a statistical miracle in Game 2 as they hit 2 grand slams. J.D. Martinez and Rafael Devers delivered the blast and provided 8 of the Red Sox 9 runs in 9.5 wins. Now, let's get to our highlight for tonight. As it was the Atlanta Braves taking on the LA Dodgers, and this drive here by Corey Seager is taken deep to right field and is going to be 2-0 Braves. Now, Jocktober continues as Jock Peterson takes one deep. It's now 2-2. Crowd going absolutely wild in Atlanta, looking to take a 2-0 lead. Chris Taylor, his legend continues this October, as this one's going to be bluffed in center field. It's going to score 2, and the Dodgers take a 4-2 lead. Moving on to the 8th. Austin Riley continues his great season, and he's going to drive this one as deep as you can take it in left center. It's going to score the tying run. Ozzie Albies is on his horse, and he's going to bring it home. 4-4 in Atlanta. Eddie Rosario, can he play hero tonight? He's going to. Kenlon Jansen, it's sent right back up the middle. Dansby Swanson is going to get on his horse, and he is going to score. Well, thank you guys. That's all I've got for sports. This Red Sox matchup tonight going to be pretty interesting.
Thank you very much. And that is our report for tonight. Please be sure to stay tuned for major discussions.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.